Let me start tonight by introducing myself. My name is Todd Smith, and I've been with Youngevity for, since 1996. So I've been with this company for quite a few years now and worked with Dr. Wallach, and I was originally introduced to the company by my father. And what happened is I was in my first year of graduate school when my wife and I found out we were going to have triplets. And so it was a little bit of a shock. We were excited, but we were a little nervous because all of a sudden we had to get a bigger place and a lot of extra stuff and kind of three of a lot of different things. And so I had to find some way to make some money in order to take care of that. And because of the situation with triplets, oftentimes they come small. And so I was in a situation where I had to quit work in order to stay in school and so that I could be home to help with the babies and so forth. And as a result of that, I had to find some other way to pay for all these diapers and infant formulas and all the things we needed. So I need another way to support the family. And I was looking at some different ideas, and I took these ideas up to Idaho where my dad lives. He's been very successful in business. I trusted his judgment. I said, Dad, here's some ideas. What do you think? And he heard me out, and he said, Todd, I've never heard any of those things. I don't know anything about them. But he said, one of the things you showed me was a nutritional product. And he said, your mom and I have recently had an experience with that. And he said, let me show you something. And he went to the refrigerator and he poured some juice and mixed some stuff up and gave it to me. He said, here, drink this. And knowing my dad pretty well, I smelled it first. And I said, well, what is it? And he said, I don't know for sure. It's old stuff that comes out of Utah. But your mom got it from a friend of hers to help with her arthritis and bone spurs, and she's gotten better. And, I gave her a hard time at first, but she started feeling so great, I started sneaking it, he said. And he says, I tell you, the stuff works. And he said, I wanted to show this to you because he says, if you're going to go talk to neighbors and friends and people like that about a nutritional product, there's a lot of stuff out there that's just hype that doesn't really make a difference. And you got to make sure that what you're going to be selling is the real deal. And he said, this stuff I know works. And I said, fantastic, tell me more. And so through the course of him introduced me then to the people that they got the product from, I was introduced to Dr. Wallach. And in 1996, my wife and I said, this is what we're going to do. And we jumped in and we started to share Dr. Wallach's message with people. And that was the adventure that leads me to where we are here tonight. And what I want to do tonight is I want to share with you kind of an overview of Youngevity, of Dr. Wallach's message in this company that he's formed, and what our purposes are, and more specifically, what makes us unique. Because there's lots of companies out there, there's lots of nutritional programs and products, but why have I stuck with Youngevity? What makes Youngevity different than anything else that's out there? And so that's what I'm going to share with you tonight. We're going to watch a video. The video is about 15 minutes. I'm going to introduce to you 3 points. 3 points that I feel are very, very special to Youngevity, what make us different from anybody else. And so we'll go to that point. Let's go ahead and start the video. Well, with that introduction, now I'm going to share with you 3 points or aspects of Youngevity that I think are really unique. First off is the Youngevity products. And the reason the Youngevity products are unique is because they come from a completely different mindset, a different philosophy than the typical product that's being created to go into the marketplace. Normally, if a product's being created, somebody comes up with a great story, an exotic name, something like that, and that creates the uniqueness for that product. Well, Dr. Wallach's philosophy is different. Rather than creating a product and then trying to market it, his idea is find out the need and then fulfill that need. And so it comes from a philosophy of a doctor of veterinary medicine as opposed to a medical doctor. The philosophy of the medical industry in our country is that if you get sick, you go see the doctor, right? Once you're ill, then you go to the doctor, and that's when the doctor makes money. It's when you are already sick. And the veterinarians learned early on that there's no money in that for them. Okay, they don't get paid with the treatments, especially in the farm animals, right? Because there's no money in those treatments because the animals are worth less than the cost of the treatment. You know, with people, we'll spend whatever it costs, okay? Whatever it is, we'll pay it for that treatment. But for animals, there's a price to it. And so the veterinarians learned very early on that they had to do something different in order to get paid, in order to make money. And they came from a standpoint, instead of treatment, like the medical community, they came at it from a standpoint of prevention. The idea was that from all of their research, there are what we call essential nutrients. And these are nutrients that are linked to sickness. So they are nutrients that the body can't produce. And so if the body can't produce it, they must consume. And secondly, they are directly linked to a disease. So a deficiency of these nutrients means what? You're going to get sick, okay? You're going to get sick. And these are what we call essential nutrients. And the veterinarians made lists of these for all the animals. Okay, they have a list for pigs, and they have a list for chickens, and they have a list for turkeys. Okay, and these are the essential nutrients that those animals' bodies cannot produce. They have to consume or they get sick. Well, Dr. Wallach said this is a great idea. Works fantastic for animals. What if we took that philosophy and moved it into treating humans? And so his idea was, let's identify what those essential nutrients are. And they discovered that the makeup of essential nutrients for humans is 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 to 3 fatty acids. All up, that becomes 90 essential nutrients. Okay? 90 essential nuts. Okay? That is what it adds up to. And if the body gets these items, then it doesn't get sick. And if we are sick and we have something wrong with us, as long as we're getting these 90 essential nutrients, perhaps we need a few extra of certain ones that we've been deficient in for some time, but the body can do amazing things in reversing and repairing as well. And that philosophy, Dr. Wallach said, should work just as well in humans as it's worked in animals. So he went and told everybody about it, publicized it. Not a lot of people got worked up over it, and so he decided, I'm going to prove it to you. He went to the state of Oregon, became a licensed physician, and started practicing, and for 12 years, he treated his human patients as animals, okay, giving them horse pills and calf pellets, and giving them these 90 essential nutrients. And as a result, people got better. In fact, word spread on the street, it was, look, if you're not happy with the treatment you're getting from your doctor, go see Doc Wallach. He'll treat you like a dog, but you'll get better. And that's exactly what happened. His fame grew, his popularity grew, he had more patients than he knew what to do with because this philosophy of prevention seemed to make sense with people. And they got better. So this whole philosophy is what makes Youngevity very, very unique. Because we don't start at an exotic thing, we start with the essentials. And I'll give you a little example of how to depict that. If you put the 90 essentials right in the center, okay, this is the core of our product line. But we have over 450 products. Why have 450 products then, right? If you can get all of your essentials right there with the core. Well, the reason is because we like options, okay? We like to have other choices. And we are a people of choices. When you buy a car, you don't just get tires and fuel and a steering wheel, right? You like to have power doors, power windows. You like to have a car stereo to listen to. These are all options, and they're nice to have. They're not essential, but they're fantastic options to have. Well, the same thing is true here. We have products for energy. Okay, we have the Rebound product, which you saw in the video. We have products for diabetes. We call it Sweet Ease to help with sugar sensitivities and diabetes. We have products for arthritis like Glucogel and OsteoFX. We have all sorts of products to help with women's issues, okay, like the Women's FX with hormonal issues. And the list goes on and on and on and on around the circle. Everything from cosmetics to mineral makeup to laundry detergent. The product line is vast. And you don't necessarily use all of these products, but you start at the core. Everybody uses the core. And when you experience life with 90 essential nutrients, you never want to go back. And so what happens is you say, man, this works so fantastic. I wonder what else Youngevity has. And you try this, and you try this, and you try this. And pretty soon you find out that it's nice having those options, isn't it? It's really nice having those power windows and those power locks and the heated seat and the heated steering wheel and all the other luxuries that you can put into an automobile. Well, we have that in our product line as well. So one of the things of the three that makes us unique is our product line. We start with what is essential and necessary for health. And we start everybody there. And if you give the body those 90 essential nutrients, it'll do amazing things. Dr. Wallach says your need for the 90 nutrients, the 90 essential nutrients expires when your need for oxygen expires. Okay, so when you no longer want to breathe, then you no longer need your 90 nutrients. But this is based on the veterinary science and the preventative approach to health. Something that makes us very unique. Let's go to point number 2. All right, the second point that we're going to talk about regarding the uniqueness of Youngevity is the fact that Youngevity gives us a unique access to a principle called leverage. How many here know what leverage is? Somebody give me an example.
A little bit of effort, a lot of output.
Very good. Okay, so a certain amount of input that goes in, but you get a lot of output that comes out. Okay, it's a magnification of effort in a way. A simple example of that is if you get a flat tire. Have you ever had a flat tire in a car? Had to change a tire? Okay. You get out of the car, you lift that car off the ground, prop it on your hip, undo those lug nuts, throw that tire off, slap on that spare, tighten up those lug nuts, and let that car back down, right? I see a few smiles, okay? Sure, that's what we do, okay? No, we don't do that, but we do if we have what? If we have leverage, okay? What do you use for leverage to change a tire on a car? Tire jack, okay? Little simple motions round and around, up and down, that car magically lifts off the ground. You do exactly what we said, but you're using leverage to do it. With a little bit of input, you get a huge output, okay? Immense amount of benefit and strength that comes from a small input. Well, how do we get unique leverage? We get unique leverage by getting out of the syndrome of trading time for money. So that's how most people earn their income, isn't it? You take so many hours out of your day, you put it on a plate and you hand it to your boss, and he gives you a paycheck. He says, this is what your time is worth. And so we are all limited. We have a ceiling on us, don't we? Okay? There's no way that any one of us can work more than 24 hours in a day if we're in that trading time for money. So your income is capped to however many hours you're going to work times however much you're going to get paid per hour. That's your max. Well, leverage is actually a principle of wealth. True wealth is created by people who find and access the principle of leverage. I'll give you an example. This little CD has given me access to incredible leverage. I leverage a number of things here. I leverage Dr. Wallach's experience. I leverage his knowledge. I leverage his power to deliver a message. He's convincing, okay? I leverage all that about him. And so I don't have to do the autopsies. I don't have to do the research. I don't have to be a doctor. I don't have to do any of that kind of thing. All I have to do is know the guy and have access to his CD. And so I, as an individual, as a normal person, can leverage him by lending that CD to people. Now, let me give you an example, okay? Let's say I take this CD and I lend it to a friend. How long will it take me to lend this to a friend? Okay, a minute. I say, this is a fantastic CD. I love it. It's entertaining. It's helped my family. I want you to listen to it. Would you listen to it?
Sure.
Okay? Took me a few seconds, didn't it? Now, he takes this CD and he listens to it. CD's over an hour long, okay? My input of a minute or two turns into an hour of work. So my minimal input then produces over an hour of work. Now, can you see in a day how it's possible to access more hours of work then if you're using something like this CD? Let me give you another example. What if I took 10 of those CDs to work? Okay, and in the course of that day at work, I lent 10 of those CDs out to people and got commitments from them to listen to that CD on their way home from work. So on the way home from work, I'm doing something else, and those 10 people put that CD in and listen to it. So how long did it take me, do you think, to lend 10 CDs at work?
20 minutes if you talk slow.
20 minutes if I talk slow. Let's say it takes me an hour, right? Someone was real hard, so I lost a lot of time on one of them, right? So I invest an hour. Those 10 people listen to that CD on the way home. That's 10 hours of work that's produced. That's a 10 times multiplier. Now, we'll take you one step further just to see if we can widen our view a little bit more. What if in a room like this, I taught 10 people to take 10 CDs to work and lend them? Okay, so how long would it take me to teach 10 people in a room like this?
Maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, an hour, 2 hours, okay? And those 10 people go and they share those 10 CDs at work, which produce another 10 hours of work, right? So 10 times 10 is 100 hours of work produced from my 1 to 2 hours of input. So that is another example of leverage. And that CD has allowed me to access thousands and thousands of hours of work and production in a single day.